Good morning, friends. I like this whole getting up, doing my morning routine, and then hopping on to do a quick podcast. So I am recording this as of, what is today? Saturday morning. It's almost 7 o'clock. And as most of you know, there's like so much chaos going on right now. And so I just wanted to speak on that. Kind of tell you what I've been going through, what I see other people going through, and how even though we feel out of control right now, how you can control what you're going through, and that it's okay for things to suck. Like, I had some travel plans for next week, and they got canceled as of Wednesday, I want to say. So my plans all went to shit, which it is what it is. But I really, really, really wanted to do this thing now instead of having to do it later, because I have other travel plans later in the year. And while it wasn't some, I know there's a lot of friends of mine that had qualified for like all-inclusive trips, and they canceled all of these trips, so people have been anticipating these vacations for months, and then days before they're supposed to go, everything is canceled. And like, it's okay to be upset about that. Like, I think there's a lot of shame around, well, I really wanted to do this. And, I do say this a lot, like first world problems. And it is a first world problem, but like, it's still your reality. It still sucks. Like, it sucks, you guys. But it's okay for it to suck. Like, I think sometimes we get hung up in comparing ourselves to everybody else, or like telling other people what they should or should not be doing based on how we think they should feel. And let me tell you what, if you're one of those people doing that to somebody, that's not okay. That is not okay. You can feel however you want to feel, but don't project your shit onto other people. Don't project your things onto other people and make them feel bad for whatever they are experiencing. I know, there was a few of you who had races this weekend too. There's a bunch of you who had St. Patty's Day plans. There was people who had tournaments and sporting events and concerts. Like, literally everything is being canceled. It's like the whole world is being forced to slow down. It's like, hey, listen, we can't keep going at this rate. We need to slow down. We need to stop this thing. And while this is my personal opinion, you guys can take it or leave it or not. Whatever. At first I was really pissed about it, because I was like, what the fuck? Like, are they seriously like canceling everything? Like, this thing is not going to kill people. Like, this is not going to be the end of the world. Like, COVID-19, coronavirus is not going to be the end of the world. Even if it was the end of the world, I feel like I'm one of those people that would survive. I'm not going to tell you my address or anything, but like, we live out in the country. I don't really have neighbors, so I don't have to worry about like shit like that. Maybe I'll just like build a moat or a brick wall, I'll build a wall. But I have horses, I have a garden. I mean, the only thing I don't have is chickens, but maybe that's the next thing. Maybe that's what I'll go do today, is I'll get my chicken coop set up, and then I'll be set for eggs and stuff too. I'm trying to pick coffee grounds out of my coffee, because I have this like protein creamer, and my daughter thought it'd be really cool to throw a chunk of like these 3 containers. One has like sugar, one has creamer, one has coffee. And she thought it would be really cool to put coffee grounds in the creamer and the sugar. And so I tried to fish it all out. I think I got it now. Toddlers, right? Anyways, I think I'm pretty set. If the world comes to an end, I have almost everything I need right here. I mean, I live in the Midwest, guys. Like, we have guns, we have ammo, we have horses, we have a garden, I have water, I have a well, and I have city water, so I think I'm good either way there. I mean, it is what it is, but I really just don't think that this is going to be the end of the world. But I've been doing some reading, and I see what people mean by quarantine. So at first I was really kind of pissed off about it. I'm like, oh my God, they're canceling everything. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, they're just going way over the edge. But then I stopped to take another perspective, because that's not an empowering thought. It's not an empowering feeling. And the reason that we are quarantining ourselves is maybe not to protect the healthy people, but protect the healthy people from infecting more people with compromised immune systems. So I watched a video the other day that said, hey, they're quarantining people not to keep the healthy people safe like myself. Like, I would consider myself a fairly healthy individual. But if I go home and I have an infant, I have a child, I have a little baby boy, I have a 2-year-old daughter, she's almost 3, dang it. And even like my parents or my grandparents, like, there's people out there with compromised immune systems. And so if I go out and I get infected and I come home and I spread that germ into my house, like, they may not be able to fight that off, you know? So it's just being proactive versus reactive. And I think this is actually really, really cool when you think about it, because we as a society have been, putting out fires and we have been really reactive. It's like, panic, buy all the toilet paper. But like, I'm just over here pretty cool, calm, and collected. I mean, what do? You stock up on essentials, I guess, if you want. I don't know. Like, if the world comes to an end, the last thing that you're going to want to think about is fucking toilet paper. Like, that's just not. And I know if you get quarantined and people are saying that they're not shipping any more toilet paper because it was made in China. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not. But anyways, I really think that it's cool that everybody's being so proactive versus reactive. And we're being forced to slow down. We're being forced to think about these things. And we're being forced to hang out with each other or work from home or do things a little differently. And it can be really scary for some, because change can be scary. If you guys listen to some of the previous episodes, change can be really scary for some. But for me, I just embrace the change. And I'm really, really grateful in this time that I've been able to build a life and a business that I enjoy being around other people, but 99.9% of my work I can do from home or wherever. And it wasn't always like that. It was not always like that. And so this time, today, I am just super, super grateful for all of the personal development that I have done years previously that I feel like are almost leading me up to this. It's like this big moment, like there's like a whole bunch of chaos, but then there's like the cool, calm, and collected people amidst the chaos. And I feel like whatever energy you show up with today directly affects the energy of those around you. For example, if you show up on social media, if you show up at work, if you show up, dropping your kids off for school, or even like having conversations with your kids and you're fearful and you're scared and you're any of those low vibrating emotions, feelings, energies, other people will absorb that. They will absorb it. It's like osmosis, right? It just kind of like moves into their experience. But if we are to take a high vibe energy, high vibe emotion, high vibe proactive response to this, we're empowering others to feel the same. So for example, if I'm like, hey kids, you should wash your hands 18 million times a day, because if you don't, you're going to die. Like, panic. There's no baby wipes. There's no toilet paper. Cut up some old t-shirts, throw them in the washer, call it a day. Or if I'm like, hey guys, like, things happen. We're just going to keep going on about our life. We're going to keep having fun, which is my next thing I want to talk about. We're just going to be safe. We're going to lay low for a few weeks. We're going to play a lot more board games. We're going to hang out with each other. We're going to really start to like each other and know what we're doing. We're going to keep washing our hands. We're just, like, it's no big deal. Like, we're healthy and we're just going to try to help keep the world a healthier place. Like, what one feels better? Like, they're both obviously the same situation. We're all experiencing the same situation right now. But it's how you react and perceive this situation, and then how you tell other people about this situation. It's like that telephone, right? Like, if I tell you something, by the time it gets to 10 people, it's going to be so skewed and distorted. But if you don't, like, start rumors and you're just like, okay, this is me, you know, and you just come at it from a very, again, cool, calm, and collected, peaceful place of mind, like, it's no big deal. This stuff has happened before. Think about it. We've had the Zika virus, we've had Ebola, we've had SARS, we've had mumps and measles, like, we've had all these things. And I know it hasn't been to the extent of, like, what it is right now. Like, they haven't put the whole country on lockdown, but maybe they should have done this sooner. Think about that. Every few years we have an outbreak, and maybe that's why they're shutting everything down, is because they see how it overwhelms the healthcare systems and what a shortage there are of, you know, nurses and doctors and hospital beds and things like that. So they're like, hey, how do we not make this a crisis? So if you think about it, it's actually a really cool thing for our country to be going through, or our world, I should say, to be going through, because there's countries that are shut down. Like, the other day, somebody said Italy just, like, closed up shop. And I want to say good for them. Good for them. They're taking a proactive response, and that's how I choose to view this whole thing, is that they're just being proactive and letting this thing ride out until it goes away. You know? And that kind of leads me to the next thing. You know, I talked about fun a little bit, and I feel like there's a lot of people who are shamed right now for living their everyday life. Sorry. I have like this cough. Actually, it's probably Corona. Just kidding. I'm totally kidding. That was a bad joke. I'm sorry. That was a really bad joke. I kind of feel like a jerk now. Oh, I embarrassed myself. Anyways, I feel like there's a lot of shame around, like, having fun or just, like, living your life right now too. For example, you know, if you're laughing or you're joking or you're talking about toilet paper memes, or you go, I don't know, take care of yourself, or you're just genuinely happy and living life. Like, people are like, why are they so happy? The world's in a crisis. Everybody should be in crisis mode. Everybody should be in survival mode. Blah, 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 blah. And that's not okay. Again, that goes back to projecting your feelings onto other people. If somebody's happy, let them be happy. If somebody's sad, let them be sad. The only time that you should offer, like, hey, you should do this, or I don't know why you're this, unless they ask, you just keep that shit to yourself. Like, don't go ruining somebody's day just because you're having a hard time. Okay? Now, if you want to talk about those things, just talk about them to, like, you know, get them off your chest. That's another thing. Make sure that you have a safe place and that you feel, you know, that you can talk about it without being judged. I feel like that's such a thing that we do. We try to fix everybody or project, like, you should be doing this or you should be doing that. And I know I'm guilty of this too, because I've seen a couple people who are, like, freaking out, and I'm like, you should just calm down. You know, like, I don't really say you should calm down, and I'm like, well, to me, it's no big deal. Like, I'm calm, and then I just kind of show what my approach is to it instead of telling them that they should do my approach. Does that make sense? So, for example, instead of me saying, like, you need to calm down, like, that's very assertive, that's very aggressive. That's kind of like the past Sasha. I used to do that all the time, tell people what they needed to do. But then I wasn't necessarily doing it myself. So now people are like, well, I'm freaking out. And I'm just like, well, I'm not. And this is how I'm dealing with it. And then they ask more questions. Or they're like, well, fuck you, Sasha. Usually it's one or the other. But that's okay, right? I'm just sharing how I'm feeling in my experience. And if they want more questions, or, you know, if they want to ask me more questions, then by all means, I will share everything that I'm going through. But just know that, like, it's okay to feel the feelings. Like, if you're sad about your canceled events, like, be sad. That really fucking sucks. Like, nobody anticipated this. Like a year ago or 6 months ago when these things are being planned, like nobody said, hey, come March, everything's going to be canceled. The whole country is going to be shut down. The whole world's going to be shut down. Like, I don't think people could have predicted that. Like the everyday person could have predicted that. Maybe there's some people at the CDC or the government, I don't know who could have predicted that, but I know I didn't predict it. And so, you make plans and you get excited about those things because, you're hitting goals, or you're like traveling with your friends, or like you have this concert planned forever, and boom, all of a sudden, just like that, it's out of your control. And that can feel very disempowering. And the only thing that you do have control of is how you think, act, and feel about it. Like if your trip or your event got canceled, ultimately you don't have any control over that. And that can really, really suck. It's okay to cry about it. It's okay to be sad about it. Like, I feel for you. I had a lot of things canceled this month, and on top of a few deaths in the family too, and that shit sucks. It's sad. It's really sad. Like, I spent like the whole day the other day just crying because a family member of mine passed away, and he wasn't even 50, you guys. It's just so crazy. 6 months ago he was fine walking around, no big deal, and I'm not going to get into what happened because it's not my place to share yet. Maybe I will later on, but he just, gone, and life can change just like that in a moment. And it just feels uncontrollable. And then you start to question, like, well, what if I did this? Or what if I did that? And the truth is there's no what ifs. Like, the past is the past. We cannot change it. But what we can do is control how we feel about it, control how we think about it, and just not hold judgment to that. Like, don't judge people for being happy. Don't judge people for being sad. Just hold space for them and just be like, I see you. I hear you. I feel you. And know that this too shall pass. It will. It may feel like it's forever away because we are in the thick of it. We are in the thick of it. Or even just the beginning of it. Who knows at this point? Uncertainty can be so scary. But just focus on the next 24 hours, the next 48 hours. Try not to get so caught up in the future or the uncertainty of things that you start to spiral. I want you just to think about the things that you immediately have control over, like your environment, right? And maybe you just start to take a look at your life and say like, hey, I'm coming from a very reactive, chaotic standpoint. How do I fix this? How do I become more cool, calm, and collected? And sometimes it's as easy as picking your battles. Like, what do you want to spend your energy on? What do you want to spend your energy on? How are you refilling your tank throughout the day? A lot of us are running on E right now. And the whole world is like, slow down, take care of yourself, rest, relax, reconnect, so that we can come back stronger. That's how I view this. Something happened out of our control, greater than us, that's telling us to slow down and rest and connect. And that's okay. That's my take on things right now. I'm not freaking out. It is what it is. Take one day at a time, just like always. Control what you have control over. And just sympathize with others. Be there for them. Don't judge them. Maybe instead ask what they need from you. How can I help? I'm holding space for you. And for all of you guys that are out there feeling sad about your events, like, I'm with you. All of you who are feeling just overwhelmed with
school cancellations and work canceling and money's tight or this happened or that happened. Like, I hear you, I see you. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. Catch you guys tomorrow.